All right. So for those of you who don't know, I am Camille. I'm a second semester student, first year, second semester in school counseling. And my co-leader is Emily, if she'll introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Emily. I also am in my first year, second semester of school counseling.
All right. Before we get started, I want to go over some confidentiality, concerns, thoughts, just so we all are on the same page. Our goal is for what is said and what happens in group to stay in group, but we do all know that this is a big group of people, and it's different than individual counseling, so there's no guaranteed confidentiality. Also, want to just go over some ground rules for mutual respect for everyone and their experiences or thoughts, remembering that other people's thoughts may be different than yours, and that's okay, and also beneficial because we can learn from each other. But also remember that we aren't giving advice, just sharing experiences. I also want everyone to remember to respect each other as we are speaking and taking turns. I know that can be hard over Zoom, but we're kind of learning how to do that well. And also want to just go ahead and let you guys know that today's topic will be geared towards self-care. It will last about 50 minutes. And then before we get into our icebreaker, I just want to share a Google definition of self-care, just so it's clear. Google says that self-care is actions that can preserve one's health and well-being. So now I'm going to get into the icebreaker, and I'll go first. We'll just say our name, the program and the semester that you're in. And I know that TV can be restful for some. Maybe it's not your thing, but just for fun, everyone can name a show or show that you are currently binging or have binged in the past. And then also one thing that you hope to learn about self-care. So again, I'll go first. My name's Camille, like I said before, second semester in school counseling. I really love crime shows. So I just finished the Ted Bundy series on documentary on Netflix. I know it's kind of weird that I like crime stuff, but my friends think it's weird. But anywho, that's what I like. And then one thing I hope to learn from today is just maybe some different new ideas of self-care and how I can better take care of myself. Someone else would like to share.
I'll go next. So I'm Viviana, second semester rehab counseling. TV show Supernatural. So that's weird too. And I would like to learn anything that might be helpful for self-care. Did I miss anything?
I think that's it.
That was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I can go. I'm Emily. I'm second semester of school counseling. I also love crime shows. I just watched The American Family Crime. It's like a documentary, I guess, or a movie. It's very good. You should watch it. And I just want to learn more physical self-care, like exercise and stuff like that.
Hey, I'm Rachel, second semester of rehab counseling. I am currently watching several shows, but the one that I like the most is American Gods. It's real good. It's real crazy. It's not crime, but I do like crime shows. And I think I want to learn from this group as well, just some other self-care modalities.
Thank you, Rachel.
I can go. I'm Macy, second semester rehab counseling. A show that I have been binging a lot lately on the weekends is Hoarders. And the reason I do that is because it's kind of motivating it motivates me to get rid of stuff and clean. So anyway, that's kind of strange. That's what I do. But something I'd like to learn is just everybody's different self-care strategies.
I'll go. My name is Charity. I am first year, second semester clinical mental health counseling. And I have been binging a lot of shows, but one I just started, I want to say like 2 days ago, is Ginny and Georgia on Netflix. And really into that. Seems to be good. So I'm excited to keep that one going. And for tonight, I just hope to, hear about everyone's different self-care strategies and see if there's any way I can take away and implement something new and different into my lifestyle.
My name is Yolanda Smith. I am in the clinical rehabilitation counseling program, first year, second semester. I like Umbrella Academy on Netflix, and then the Living Dead. I like the zombie things, Hulu. So yeah, and yeah, just looking to find some other ways. In a couple of our group or our past group sessions, I have incorporated exercise, but I need more. So I'm just looking forward to what to take away is for tonight. So that's it.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn some exercise things too.
I think I'm last. I'm Cheyenne Bradley. I am my first year, second semester of clinical rehab counseling, a TV show. I am currently binging Being Human. It's about a vampire, a werewolf, and a ghost. I like sci-fi things. But I have the Unabomber for you and Emily. That's a good one if you want to watch that. Unabomber. And there's a podcast called 10 Minute Murder. And it's literally 10 minutes, which is really good. I don't like the long out drama that's like hours and hours long. I get confused on who's the main character, all that. My bad, I'm talking too long. And some self-care things. Something other than like watching TV or eating. Something that gets me, I guess, out of the house. Not exercising,
Yeah,
but out of the house.
I actually just finished the Unabomber, so great show. Totally.
Nice.
I'll go. I'm Tanya. I'm in my second semester of school counseling. I guess the thing I've been watching most lately is this season of Discovery of Witches. I kind of like those kind of shows. And I would just like to learn something besides exercise, something different this evening, just some different strategies. So.
Yes. All right. I'm excited to hear all of the different things too. So as we get started into that, I know I sent the email earlier with the self-care plan. If you have that printed or if you just want to follow along on your computer, that's okay too. I have it up on my computer. But basically, if you would just want to keep notes of different things that you liked that people said, or ideas that they had that maybe you want to implement into your own life, just take note of those things, and then we'll share at the end of what everyone wrote down. So there are many factors of our life that use self-care. So like we've already mentioned, physical self-care, emotional self-care, and I don't think anyone mentioned spiritual. So those are just a few different types. I know that there are others too. So feel free to share any of the other things that you do that don't necessarily, aren't necessarily regarding those things. Anything that you do and want to share is fine. So before we get started on the specific things that we do, I'd like to know if everyone could share different signs that you have that just help you know that, okay, it's time to have a self-care day, or I need to do this and take some time to relax. What are some different signs in your life or with your body or different things that tell you that you need to practice self-care?
I'll go. So I get extremely tired, and usually I try to like get enough hours of sleep each night. So when I am getting that, and then I'm still like extremely like exhausted, that's usually a sign. Or for me, I get extremely irritable by things that would normally irritate me or bother me, and so I'm trying to think. Just fatigue, irritability. I think that's really like my telltale signs for me. I'll let other people share.
Yeah, that's important to be able to know that. And I think I can relate completely to that. I think I get fatigued and irritable too. That's how I know.
I am an emotional eater. And so when I pull up to the fast food place and I say I want like 2 or 3 burgers and fries and milkshake, that's my indicator that I've reached my point of no return. But yeah, stress eating, I know that's hard. So I'm trying to overcome that and working full time and going to school and trying to manage a household. It can be a little overwhelming. So yeah. And I probably didn't answer the question, but that's all.
That's okay. You said your sign.
Okay, I get moody. So it doesn't matter if you're looking at me, I don't like it how you're looking at me, and I get moody. And I know I need to go to bed. Can't help it.
I get real short with people. Like I'm not really irritable, but I just get real snappy. And I get like sometimes my face breaks out when I get real stressed out. So that's a thing that happens for me.
I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but when I get really stressed out, I get this twitch in my eye, and it's really annoying. So that's what happens to me.
That was literally me. Like last week, I had like so many like assignments due in my eye. Like I was talking to someone and it was just like going crazy. I was like, what is happening? I'm like, I'm so sorry, my eye keeps twitching. So yes, Emily, I do relate.
It's crazy how our body knows those things and it affects it in different ways.
I think my signs are kind of pretty much similar to everyone else's. I get real snappy. I get annoyed easily. Like normally I kind of just, everything's just rolls off my back. But when I start getting annoyed easily, I know. Or if I'm falling asleep on the couch when the sun's still out, I know. And also if I'm still not in a good mood by the time I'm in my car on the way to work, I know, because right when I wake up, I'm never in a good mood. It's like automatically like, oh, I'm calling in today. But then by the time I get up, get rolling, if I haven't lost that feeling by the time I'm in my car, I know it's time.
That's when I really had it. I take up the sass level to people, and that's when I know.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Is there anyone who didn't share who wanted to share?
There's me. I'm a combination of all of those. Both my eyes twitch actually, not just one. I eat. Everyone knows I eat ice cream and cookies. You guys know that. Yeah, everything everyone said, all of it. Probably at one time too.
Yeah, I can relate for sure. So thank y'all for sharing those things. Now that we kind of know what makes us know that we need to practice self-care, what is everyone's most typical or most used self-care technique or practice that you do? I can go first. I love to paint my nails. It's just a very like mindless thing to do, and I can just sit in silence and paint my nails. So, and also that helps out with not spending so much money going to get my nails done. But
I love to cook. My new thing now is if you guys know what TikTok is, I'll like find TikTok recipes and try them out literally every single day of the week, and it really helps.
that's awesome. I've really wanted to try that, but I have not done it yet. I'm not the best cook, but maybe I should work on it and can teach me.
The feta pasta, very good.
I use my animals as stress relief a lot. So cat and dog, if they're yeah, just anywhere in the house, they will get attacked by me.
I think my immediate things are like I try to clean something just because it gives me something, my mind, something to occupy. I'll go get my nails done. I wish I could just paint mine and save money, but my hands shake really bad. It runs in my family. Not nervous, but for some reason my hands are very shaky, and so I go get mine done. Oh, and also my animals. There's my kitty. They help a lot.
I'll go next. So I will clean just like Macy. I do have pets, but they're not cuddly pets. They don't like to be cuddled with, so they suck, basically.
They don't like to snuggle.
Yeah, yeah. And then I don't like, I mean, I do like to watch TV, but I actually like to listen to TV. So I'll play Supernatural very loud, and then I just clean. And I know them by heart, so I can see what's happening even when I'm not watching them because I just know them. So it works well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Viviana, do you like Sam or Dean better?
Both. It's just both. So,
Okay. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
If you could share your most used or most typical self-care practice.
Okay. Yeah, a couple weeks ago I got from you ladies how the exercise thing. So I started incorporating that. So for the past couple of years, every Saturday morning, if I'm not out of town or something like that is going on, I go to prayer on Saturday morning. So you didn't mention the spiritual component of it. So at prayer for an hour, it's awesome. After going through a whole week of all types of stuff, just doing that just puts me in a better place. And then afterwards, I try to do the exercise thing again for the past 2 weeks. So that's good.
Yeah, so cool that you learned that from a group, and I can imagine that's really restful.
I learned this one from my dad, to go on a car ride. And my favorite thing to do, like while going, like if it's a specific place, I like to go look at houses. I know that I can't afford them right now, but they're just so beautiful. Like with the long open windows, the glass windows, big old chandeliers. I just like to drive through Atlanta and look at the houses and just go for a little ride and then eventually come back. If I do need to leave the house or something like that, I like to just go out. Sometimes I go to a park and just sit, just being out. That's all I was saying, something outside other than exercising, because I'm not going to exercise.
I love looking at houses too, by the way, Cheyenne. Like, I
Yeah.
really wanted to be a real estate agent because I just love looking at other people's stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
just
people come up
really,
with really good ideas. I'm like, wow, I would have never thought about an outside oven. Wow, now I can eat pizza outside.
I'm the exact same way. I have like a Pinterest board. I mean, I'm sure most of y'all, if y'all don't, but I have Pinterest, and so like I have a whole board just like dedicated to houses and stuff. And so I will literally pin like, I don't know, it's weird, but that's like a way I like decompress too, is just like pinning stuff on Pinterest. But I also do Cheyenne does. I'll like just get in my car and like go for a little drive and then like listen to music. And kind of with Yolanda with the spiritual thing, whether that just be like just have a little praise and worship session that gets me going, or just, you know, listening to like my favorite other genres. So I like to listen to music. And then trying to think, apart from exercising, because I did know I mentioned that a couple weeks ago, I do just like to just get outside, and whether that's just like soaking up the sun. And we recently just started having pretty days with like better weather. So hopefully I can start using that more. It also has been raining a lot, so it's been on and off. But like as we transition into the spring, you know, just being outside really helps my mood and like the sun and the vitamin D. So I do like to spend some time outside.
Yeah, y'all talking about houses kind of makes me, it's like kind of like an art, or like going to an art show, just a different type of art. So that's cool that several of y'all had that in common.
along the praise and worship line, I like to meditate sometimes. It's not easy, but it works to get me out of my head. I do that too.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that definitely takes practice of getting into. Tanya, I think I saw, maybe were you muted?
Yes, I was muted. Sorry. I thought I clicked it off, but no. Before I like to exercise, but when I'm not doing that, I start learning a new language. So when I get really stressed, I just go sit and do the lesson components of the language I'm learning. So that kind of keeps my mind off of any stress. It kind of helps. So that's just something fun I like to do.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks.
That is really cool. I'm kind of excited about that one.
I feel like I need to up my game a little bit with painting my nails.
Tanya, what language?
German.
That's awesome. So moving forward, I know that we mentioned there's different ways to practice self-care, like spiritual or physical or emotional. And I know some of y'all already mentioned, so don't feel like you have to say it again if you already did, but what are some areas that look different than others? So like if you go to prayer first and get your spiritual self-care, like what do you do for your physical, or or some of those things the same? I know for me, I like kind of combine some of them. By physical, I'll go on a long walk, but also listen to like some worship music or pray while I'm walking. So maybe that's an example to help you guys think of how you implement them in the different areas.
There's a meditation center in Mobile, and they do a warm up, like kind of a yoga tai chi kind of warm up thing right before the meditation. That's pretty cool. So that's a kind of combo effort, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyone else have any examples of overlapping things, or maybe not overlapping?
I guess. Sorry, I was trying to think. I also listen to spiritual music. I'm training for a half marathon, so sometimes I need the pump it up music, but also it's nice to slow down and reflect.
Yeah, I agree. That's really cool. I want to do that, but I have not done that. So
I sometimes listen to The Truth. It's a religious station on my way to work. So when I need that extra, superpower from above, I will listen to it. But if it gets too sentimental, you have to change it because you have to make it to work. So you have to put the pumping music up.
yeah, there's a good balance to have for that. I agree.
It's funny you say that, Viviana, because there's a song, I don't know if any of y'all know it, but it's called Church Clap, and it's a Christian song, but it is like lit. And so sometimes I listen to it on my way to work because it also gets me in that spiritual vibe, but also like gets me pumped up at the same time. Anyway, but so I do that, and I pray. And then I think something else that helps me kind of just feel spiritual is I have a little fountain in my room. It's just like a little table fountain. Cut it on and have a candle lit and just kind of lay and maybe put on a little music, but just mainly to just think.
I'm kind of the same way with Macy and Viviana. Like I'll have days where I'll listen to church music or worship music before I go to work, just to like depending on my mood. But then I know y'all all relate. Like some days you just have those days where you just got to pull up playing trap music, and that is me. Like it depends on my mood. I just have to get motivated. So rightfully so, good balance, I would say. But kind of like with Viviana, she says she cleans, and so I will sometimes like I'll play like a podcast or a sermon on my TV while I clean, and so I kind of get like the balance of both, of just like the physical self-care, just like having the time to clean, but then also like tending to like my spiritual self-care as well.
That just made me think about playing music in the shower. and how like I feel like sometimes my shower time is like my self-care time, and so play music in the shower. And I just right when I moved in my house, I got a new bathroom, so there's enough room to like dance around in there. I don't like anybody to see me do that, but it definitely happens.
Thanks for the honesty. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do like a whole trifecta. I'll eat, I'll journal, and I'll listen to music. Then all of my needs are satisfied.
That's awesome. I feel like, especially whenever we're working on time management or maybe not having much time for that, it's really cool that we can get multiple areas of our life kind of rejuvenated for the next day or
Oh,
whatever we have.
that kind of reminded me of at work, sometimes in the classroom, if it gets too hectic, I'll have my lunch outside. There's like a little mini, I don't want to say a park, but there's like several benches. There's two swings, and it's like adjacent to my job. Sometimes just to get out the building, all kind of stuffy, I'll just go over there and sit down, play music, and I'll eat. Again, a trifecta, just sitting out there, multitasking.
Yeah.
That's a good idea too. I work in an office that has no windows, and it gets really like difficult sometimes in there. And unfortunately, there's no place to sit outside really for me, but maybe I can figure that out.
I have some coworkers who go on a walk every day at lunch, so that's a fun way to get some self-care during the day while you're at work.
Rachel, I just moved into an office that has no windows, and I never realized how important just looking at outside. Like, I'm always thinking, oh, it's so hot out there, and I didn't realize how much I appreciated looking at outside till I didn't have the office with the windows anymore. But I try to go out at least once or twice during the day and just walk for just even if it's just like 30 seconds. But sometimes I don't even have the time to do that.
I tried to bring a plant in, but they don't really grow when there's no light. There are plants that you can grow in fluorescent lights, but it is real hard. They don't like it very much. So
Yeah.
Is there any other examples that I just want to make sure we don't skip over?
I don't know why I didn't even say anything. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking a whole lot. Sorry, Yolanda. I have like a bajillion succulents, and so like I'll go outside and be gardening, and well, gardening is a loose term, but I'll be playing in my little potted garden, and I just looked over at them. I have a bunch of them in my like little window seat. Like, oh yeah, you guys.
I have a lot of succulents too. Yolanda,
Oh, go ahead, Yolanda.
go ahead.
Okay, no. I think sometimes crying is really good. Like you guys were saying, you know, you listen to your spiritual music, and then, you know, you just get into that place, and it's like, all right, I just need to let it out. I've gone through all of this all week, and I'm in this place now. And then just crying. And then once I've done that, I'm good. So sometimes I think that for me is, you know, self-care. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, a good cry.
I like that you said that. Sorry.
No, you go. I was just saying, a good cry always feels good.
Yeah, a good cry. Like you said that, because I usually look for sad movies on purpose, so you can just let it out. And then when my kids are walking around, it's okay. Mommy's just watching a sad movie, so it all works together. So
That's funny.
After I'm done journaling, I do feel like a weight lifted off. Like after you get done jotting down all the thoughts that's going on, and it kind of just feels like, okay, it's out. So I kind of also feel a little bit relieved.
Yeah, one thing that has helped me throughout the day, I think that has helped take off a little bit of stress, is having a notepad. And when I think of something, I just write it down. And so by the end of the day, I have all of the things I think I need to do, or the things that are on my mind written down, so I don't have to worry about keep thinking about it and stuff like that. So that's really good. Okay, moving on. I just want to see I know we're all in grad school right now, and most of us work full-time jobs. So honestly, whenever we are not having school, we might have a little bit of a lighter schedule, but I want to see just what you guys think of how you see yourself implementing self-care whenever you are actually practicing as a counselor, and how you think it might look differently.
I'll go. So we had a project in my clinical orientation, like mental health class, and so we had to interview. Camille actually helped me with this. We had to interview a licensed therapist, and so in the interview, she was. I kind of asked her, like, what does she do for mental health, and so she says that right after she's done with the workday, she doesn't go straight home. She her answer was that she teaches dance class, and so it's kind of her way for like not taking what she experienced at work and bringing that home with her. She kind of like just drops it all off there. And so I mean, I'm not a dancer, but I am considering once I start to practice, just not going home straight away, just probably like going straight to the gym, or I don't know, like probably that won't be the case every single day for me, because I mean, I'm sure like there's days I'm just not gonna even want to do anything. But like I thought that was a neat way of her saying how she just like automatically, just like naturally, she's in the routine of just going straight into her self-care practice right after work, so that she doesn't have to like think too much about work or take any of that home with her. So maybe that's like a good strategy for future references, but I don't know how that necessarily will look for me right now, but I just wanted to share that.
Along the lines of what you said, Charity, we had a guest presentation this week in class for one of my classes, and her advice was to leave everything at work, like don't bring it home with you. And she was like once you get home, turn off your email. Obviously, if it's important, answer it, but just leave it all at work and don't take it home.
I'm excited to have time for like a massage.
I like massages.
Like on the weekends or whatever. I feel like that's something that I'm going to be adding to my self-care schedule for sure, because I mean, I currently, like, I feel bad about it sometimes, but I currently go get my nails done too, and that is definitely self-care for me, because I am an anxious, like, nail biter kind of person, and so I try to do that to make sure that I don't hurt myself. And so I'm excited to add things that are, like, fun and relaxing to my schedule.
I'll go next. For me, I think now that I've been working for a little bit in what I do, I think I just need more self-care at work. Like I really need to surround myself with people who are going to support me and then going to respect my limits of what I can and cannot do. And they're not going to be calling me all the time, because I'm having that issue at work right now, that they're always calling and calling and calling. So I don't feel the support, and that is stressing. And that brings stress to home. And if they're calling me at home, obviously I cannot kind of push it away. So I think I have learned that for my next job, I'm going to be better at making those boundaries and try to find people who understand that. Because more work is not a better choice. More work is just more work, and it's not healthy. And so you already know I work with autistic children, and that's not going to change. It's going to be the same thing for me, but it's a very stressful work. So for me to be a better clinician or practitioner, I have to be balanced. And right now I'm balanced, trying my best to stay balanced, but what I work is just not balancing enough. So that's what I'm taking from this. I just need more balance so I can be better.
I work in the same field, Viviana. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Cheyenne.
No, I was just relating to Viviana with creating a balance. I work in the same field as the RBT, so and that's probably the prime reason why I left the classroom that I was in. It was just not working. I wasn't being heard, all that. So in the classroom I'm in now, like this week it was so organized. It was so peaceful. Like this week was great. I love the classroom that I'm in now. But I guess one thing that I would want to add is, or in the future, I want to add is, I guess confiding in either a peer in my clinic, because I'm really like shut off. I kind of deal with it I'll isolate myself. That's the word I was looking for. Isolate myself and just deal with it internally. So I guess one thing I would want to add to my routine in the future is just like confiding in a peer, or like a coworker or something like that. Just talking it out.
That's what I was going to say. Your colleague is going to be your best probably point of reference. I work in the rehab setting, and being able to bounce things and issues that are going on in the workplace. As counselors, I think that's our colleague. I mean, we have the work family, you know, we got our family, we got our school family, but your work family, they're going to take a lot of that stress off of you if you just be willing to open up, I guess. So yeah, that's a good idea.
I like how both of y'all mentioned confiding in a colleague, because when I was a case manager, I just know that's going to be like a vital aspect of self-care in my future as a counselor. Because when I was a case manager at work, I didn't, I wasn't providing counseling services, but I became like a point for them to come to if something was going on. They did come to me and like tell me about things that were going on. And one time I care about those people in the most like healthy way you can. And man, I just thought about something that this lady had told me, and I thought about it when I got home. I thought about it all that night, and I kept thinking about it, and I couldn't stop. So the next day, I talked to a friend at work, and she kind of helped me feel like you did your job, like everything's okay, just, So I know that's going to be something I'm definitely part of a self-care act when I'm a counselor.
I think I'm definitely not going to put a work email on my phone, because I've just learned from the past that no matter how you say you're not going to look at it, you do, and it will bother you the rest of the evening. And I think that's one of the strategies I'm going to use moving forward, is just don't have that email on your phone so you can see it. So
That is so good.
Yeah, I found that
have a
also just with my current job of not looking at my email after 5, except for emergencies, of course. But
Yeah, I have a friend who actually took it upon herself to get a totally new phone. So it's like there's a work phone, and then there's like a personal phone. That's a little bit much, because then that's another bill. So I like Tanya's idea.
all right, thank y'all all for sharing. I know I have learned a lot just from hearing y'all talk. So with that being said, I think it would be a good time for us to bring out our plans, or different notes that we've made during our time just talking, and see if anyone has any new goals for themselves, or I know that we didn't necessarily talk about a support system during our time earlier, but any support systems that you'd like to mention, or new ideas for any of your physical, emotional, or spiritual self-care. And I can go first. My overall goals, and I'm not sure if this was even mentioned, but just sorry, I lost my train of thought. Just focusing on rest and how I can best get that. And for me, a lot of times that's sleeping, or taking a nap, or stuff like that. And so I don't even know if anyone mentioned that, but that's one thing that I wrote down, because I just realized no one said that. Also, I really liked Yolanda's idea of having a scheduled prayer meeting every Saturday. That was just really cool to me, that it's a scheduled time out of her day, and then she knows that afterwards she's going to exercise. So maybe that's a goal for me as I move forward, of setting a time for that. And for my support system, my biggest support system would be my fiance, but second to him would be my mom. Just going to them and talking to them and communicating my thoughts and feelings. For physical, working out and exercising, which I know a lot of us mentioned that we're not the best at that, but I'd like to get better. at that. And then for emotional self-care, for me, that's kind of doing something mindless just to not think about so much all the time. So whether that's reading or watching TV, I know y'all mentioned a lot of new shows that I'm going to have to look up and watch. And then lastly, for spiritual, again, reiterating Yolanda and having that set aside time, but also just listening to restful music on the way to work, or if I need something that's going to pump me up, maybe something more upbeat. And also I put talking with a mentor or someone who can be kind of a spiritual guidance.
I'll go next. So I guess my overall goal would be just to take care of myself, try not to get as stressed out as I do. And I have a giant support network in my recovery family and smaller support network in my actual family and work relationships. I feel like recovery has given me a bunch of people who understand me on a level that like people who are not in recovery don't understand. So that's my main support system, really. For physical self-care, definitely exercise, yoga, and I do a little exercising. But I liked, somebody was talking about, I don't know if the new language part would be the physical self-care, but maybe more emotional or like intellectual self-care, I guess. But that was one of the things that I wrote down. And for emotional self-care, definitely the going outside for lunch part, I think is something that I'm going to take with me for sure. Also, maybe even the no work email on my phone would be emotional self-care for sure. I wrote down a bunch of stuff. I did like what Charity was talking about, like don't go straight home after a session or after work. I think that's really cool. I'll have to figure out something to put in between work and home. Maybe exercise, maybe, probably not, but. And then the spiritual self-care, I mean, I'm going to continue to try to build my meditation skills up. And I'm not really religious in any kind of sense of the word, but I did go to temple with a friend of mine, Jewish temple, which I thought was really cool. So maybe like testing out all kinds of different stuff is a good way to do it for me. So that's all.
Thank you.
I can go. Overall, I like beginning the session. I really just wanted to learn some new stuff, and I definitely think we did. I appreciate everyone sharing. My support system is definitely my family and my friends. My friends are a lot closer. My family lives in Illinois, so that's very far away. For physical self-care, obviously I've been training for the marathon, but I really liked, I think it was Cheyenne, how she said to just get her in your car and just drive, listen to music, look. I really like that. I'm going to take that advice. And then emotional self-care, the movies and crying, really like that. Going to use that. And spiritual self-care, I do go to church every Sunday. Just hope to continue that with my busy schedule.
I'll go next. So my goal was to learn new things, and I did. So my support system, my family is a really good support system. I have a lot of fun with my family and my kids. They're really funny right now. They're teenagers. But I cannot talk to them about work. So that doesn't help. So I think just like I want to find a better support system at work when I find a new job. I think that would be the goal for that. Physical self-care, I really like the idea of not having that email on my phone. I think that was really smart, Tanya. I think I'm gonna do that. My emotional and spiritual kind of goes together for me. I would like to start going back to church again. I used to go to a church that I was very comfortable with, but with COVID and everything, I think I'm gonna have to kind of re-enter that again and find a group that I feel comfortable with. That's something that I do miss a lot though, praying with a group. And something that is silly, I like the driving part. I used to do that when I was a teenager, just grab the car and go away. But if I do that now with my husband, he'll be like by the door. What are you going? Where are you doing? So I don't think That would be good for him. And something that I'm really bad at, I do not put lotion on me. And, you know, it's winter. Self-care. I need to start putting more lotion.
Thank you, Viviana.
I'll go. So I said my overall goal was to just be more intentional in how I take care of myself, and also learning to say no to others when I'm at my end. And I think I'm like a people pleaser, and it's terrible. So I think that can lead to additional stress and not really prioritizing myself at the end of the day. So I really want to just kind of focus on that. And so my support system is just like my family, my friends, my cohort, my boyfriend, and professors and stuff. And I do I think I was telling people, it's just so different, like being in a counseling major, in in reference to undergrad, comparison, it was a lot different. Our professors are just a lot more understanding and very empathetic, and I really do appreciate that. So it's good to have them there too. For physical self-care, I guess continue taking care of myself through exercise and going on walks and stuff. For emotional, I put journaling, so I did take that from Cheyenne. I do want to kind of be more intentional there too. I do journal, but I don't think I keep up with it, so it's every other day, and I think it's really beneficial when you kind of stay consistent with it. I did like the part where y'all were talking about confiding in coworkers, because I do think that can help and be beneficial. And then just meeting group chats and emails, I do like that. I'm the kind of person that I cannot stand the little red notification. I will look at all of them, and I will make sure that they are all gone before I go to bed. And I could have a billion, but I will check. I just can't stand it, and I don't know how to get rid of it besides just opening them all. So, and I'm in 3 group me's, so it's and it's a bunch of people, so it just goes off all day, and I have to learn to I'm sorry y'all, I just can't check it right now, so I'm muting it. So I think that's something that's going to help me. And then spiritual, I said just continue going to church. With COVID, that's looked a lot different. I haven't been in person in a while, so I do just tune in virtually through live stream and stuff. And then just being more intentional in my devotions and kind of just assessing where my spiritual part falls in my values and stuff. And it is pretty high. I would consider myself a fairly religious person. So I do just kind of want to be more intentional there and prioritize that as well.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
I think everybody had really, really good ideas, from an emotional perspective, our physical and spirituality and things like that. So everything was good. I like the journaling. And I keep saying I'm going to do it. My girlfriend out of Michigan, she sends me all these journals, and she says, do it. And I keep saying, okay, I'm going to do it. Sounds really good, but I never do it. So maybe that'll help. Somebody at work, one of the young counselors, she said, it's really good. She said, once you start doing it, it gets everything out there. I've always wanted to do I guess from the physical, a marathon. I wanted to run the Susan B. Komen or the Mercedes Marathon, but I'm, yeah. I've always wanted to do it, but I'll put that on my bucket list, I guess. But I've done hot yoga before. That's really good. The poses, some are kind of difficult, but I really like this session. This, again, the self-care group session today, this sort of kind of gave me a little bit more insight on some of the things that I can incorporate to take care of me, because it's just one of me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And thank you all for sharing. I know that was a lot, and it can be kind of a big task to think of all the different ways that we need use self-care, and also whenever we think of how our body feels whenever we know that we need self-care, that can make us feel a little tired or stressed. But I'm glad that this time was good, and that I know I learned a lot from all of you, so I hope that it was beneficial to y'all too. But with that, we will close.
Okay, thank you, Camille. You did really well. I appreciate you. I mean, you stuck right to the time frame for one thing. So, and that's not, not always an easy task, but you were good with that. I don't know if the second group had the benefit of the first group in terms of people were more open, more willing to kind of share some. So I appreciate that, but I mean, I felt like people shared in both groups. This second group was just a little bit different because people really talked about things that they do, what I do, and I appreciated that a whole lot. It was good to hear what all people do. I think that, and there were several of y'all that really talked about in terms of, this gave me good ideas, this gave me ideas of other things I can do, or maybe I did this for a little while and I stopped doing it, maybe I can pick it back up. So it was a really good kind of idea group in that way. And I had to laugh when you did the icebreaker, because I mean, like some of those shows, yeah, I eat that science fiction stuff up. So what can I say, But it's kind of funny because everybody kind of got into it. It was something, I think, that represents fun to us. It's something that we really enjoy. It's the relaxing, or being with friends and family, and, or this is my little thing I like to follow, or whatever. So it was a really kind of a good vibe, I thought, in terms of helping people to really kind of open up. And then just again, throughout the whole group, I felt like people really did open up and really shared. I hate to admit it, but I do a lot of those same things. Like, Camille, you were talking about painting your nails. I used to be like a fanatic about that, but since the COVID thing, I don't anymore, but I don't know why, but it's just kind of fun, just silly, crazy things. And how people can implement self-care, and looking at self-care from more than one perspective, because I think we just think of self-care in terms of de-stressing or not having stress in our life, instead of there's multiple ways that we need to care for ourselves, and that we can care for ourselves, and that hopefully all of us have some kind of support, whether it's a big system or a smaller system, just being able to have that support. And people were able to identify that and talk about that. And most of you had multiple forms of support, and I think that's a really good thing. And I loved, maybe it was Charity, but the statement, being more intentional in learning how to care for myself and take care of myself, because there is only one of each of us. And, we don't, I think we think about self-care and then we kind of blow it off. It's like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, but really trying to practice that, maybe not necessarily, you can't do some specific thing every day, but every week, kind of starting to incorporate things in a more meaningful and intentional. That's the word I really liked a lot. So your plan was good, Camille, and you did a really nice job of helping people talk and letting them talk. And again, I think you benefited from being second a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing sometimes. So, because people were kind of warmed up at that point. So are there any other, let me just, applaud you. It was a good group. Both groups were really good. But I also want to say, it was kind of a nice flow because we talked about conflict with Emily, and then we talked about care, self-care. So it was a good flow, I think, for the overall night. Okay, so I know 2 groups are a lot. I'm tired. I know you guys are tired. So are there any comments, thoughts, questions, anything before we kind of bring things to a close?
I think y'all both did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, good job, both of y'all.
Yeah, I agree. Good job.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Well, thank y'all. And okay, so if you have questions,